Hi everyone, if you want to learn to create this look, please keep watching. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. I've been trying to shoot back to back just to keep myself not only busy, but I'm so excited to get out more content. So I'm like, okay, so today I plan to do kind of an evening look, or maybe actually something that just, propels you to move towards spring. So my skin is moisturized and I'm going to move straight into foundation. So I want my base today to be with the least amount of makeup, and I want my skin to show more sort of than my makeup. Like today's strategy for base is very different. I'm just going to, conceal and correct areas, little by little, rather than, going on with a full face of foundation. And I'm gonna see how it goes from there, so let's just jump right in. So a few days back, I'd done some in-home sort of peeling with the liquid gold from Alpha H, and I am seeing a little bit of skin coming off from here because, well, it's a peel. There's really not much that I can do here. Like for that, I literally have to wait until new skin forms. I like to cover the sides of my mouth. So more or less, I have evened out any pigmentation for now. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the Tom Ford. Now this I'm going to use especially on my forehead a little bit, and probably in these areas. And I would say like a very light, I'm barely going to dip my brush into this, and we're going to cover as we go, but really not too hard or too much. So I'm just going like 1, 2, and I'm stamping. But you see how much, like, I'm trying to distribute even those two little dabs that I did. I'm just trying to distribute it as much as possible over one area. I want the skin to look as real as possible. Going a little over this because this is something that I have to cover. Otherwise, that the orange bit will really like pop out. So what I'm going to do is keep inspecting the skin after going in a bit, because as real as I want it to look, I also need to make sure that it looks really clean and beautiful and skin-like. For this look, even something like a tinted moisturizer would look pretty phenomenal, because you really don't want such a heavy base. I think in this kind of a makeup look, like, even though it's nothing, your skin prep is definitely what's going to take the most time, because you need to perfect that. And the eye look is really not that complicated. So I would say take your time, analyze your skin, look in the mirror and look where you need coverage, like only where you need coverage. I think I can't see this side very well, but I think I'm pretty happy with what the base looks like. And I'm actually going to move in straight to concealer. Today's concealing is going to be a little different, so let me explain. Wherever there are some active marks, like this one here, I'm going to use a slightly darker a slightly darker concealer, because this would help push that sort of breakout or that pimple or something at the back. And if there's something like those fine, those dimpled pores, I'm going to put a slightly lighter, but barely lighter, because otherwise you don't want to highlight it either, right? So a barely lighter concealer on those. And we're going to take a really thin brush like this, because it will really help pinpoint those, and all you need is then your finger. I'm just going to do that, barely pick it up, and start filling in those areas. And you only want to touch it until you kind of see it disappear, but you know, not entirely. Like touch and look, touch and look. So I'm going to fill another one here. I'm putting it on and around, and then, and you don't want to rub it, you just want to tap on it to move to some marks here. And of course there's not much that I can do here because of my skin that's peeling, so we're going to move anywhere else. I have something here on my forehead, I don't know if you can see it, this one here. So we're just filling that and then using a finger just. And now we come to the active ones, or you know, stuff that is actually seen. The second concealer that I've taken, which is this one here, is closest to my skin, and I'm just dipping the same brush, and we're just gonna go on spots where you can see something. You saw how I did that? And we're just gonna tap, because you know, usually most of the time everyone's skin is pretty good in most spaces, and you know, why to cover all that good skin when all you need to really do is just cover up what is flawed, or you know, what's just there for some. So again, this is a mark that's been there for a while, so I'm just going to cover that. You know, honestly, for me, I don't mind sometimes if, you know, there are small imperfections seen, because that is what makes skin skin. I've not really faced a lot of problems on my left side, but my right side I have. I'm happy with what we've done. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that warm beige concealer from Too Faced. Any brush will do. And I'm just going to start placing this. Again, we're gonna try to keep it to the bare minimum, but you know, especially if you have dark circles, well, you can't really help you. And we are going to use this on the eyelids too. And with whatever, like almost probably nothing is left on this brush, I'm just stippling this on top of these just to blend them out a little further. For a little bit of brightening, I'm just taking this NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Ginger. So before you go in to set everything, what I did is I just sprayed this with some setting spray, and I just went all over my skin with this beauty blender. Just, you know, makes everything look super seamless. And then I'm just going with this setting powder in the shade Translucent Honey from Laura Mercier. It has like that peachy tone, so it's actually going to help me cover a little bit of that additional darkness that I have on under my eyes. Like the tiniest bit of color correction. So the places that I set was just under my eyes, on my smile lines here, because I don't want, you know, product moving. So we're going to move straight into eyes, and I'm just using this pencil from NUDESTIX, and it's called Moon, and it's this light beige color which is going to prime my eyelids and make it ready for eyeshadow. I have a feeling sometimes this looks a little chalky and dry. The trick here is to warm your finger, and then that just helps to sort of blend. So once again, I'm just applying this. First, I'm just going to take this shade called Buon Fresco from the Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm just going to be applying this all on the crease. I'm taking it in the crease, so in the crease and even here above the crease. And I'm just taking, you know, it's kind of this dusty pink, but it looks quite purple when I apply it. So just take something similar to that, and I am just tapping this. I want to put it in the inner and the outer corners. So, and then I'm taking another brush, a clean brush, and I'm just going to work that in these areas. I don't want to take them too deep in or too deep out. I just want to blend it in the place that it's in. It's starting to look a lot like my other video. but I promise you it's not. And once again with that clean brush, you just want to sort of go in tiny circles and blend this out. Next, I'm just gonna go in with this 35B palette from Morphe, and I'm picking up this purpley shade here. So I'm just gonna take that on a brush, tap away any excess, and just start working it on the center of the lid. And that NUDESTIX base that we applied is actually turning out to be pretty nice. Just going in with a little more on this side, just where we want it, just in the center. Next, I'm going in with my two favorite shades and probably my two only brown eyeliners that I own, which is Coffee from MAC and Espresso from Gosh. And first I'm going to kind of line my eye with Espresso just to give, you know, a little bit of, you know, sort of a reddishness to this look, to the eye look. And then I'm going to move in with Coffee by MAC. So you can see how that's kind of like elongated the eye. And now I'm going to go with Coffee just to enhance that a little more, but only on the top, not on the bottom. Once again, go in with the brush just to smoke it out a bit. Notice how I'm not getting it too high. To take this look to another level, you can either use a pencil like this and, you know, just go into your waterline. So if it was daytime, I would go for something that's slightly more purple like this, and if it's like a night look, I would go for something a little more darker. I'll go in with a little bit of this right in my waterline. Okay, so next we're just taking this liquid eyeshadow from Urban Decay, and it's called the Liquid Moondust eyeshadow, and this is the shade Magnetic, and I'm just going to be adding this all over here just to give that nice glittery sort of look. And I'm just taking some on top here too, and using my finger I'll just pat all that. And for the inner corner, I'm just going to use this Stila liquid eyeshadow. It's just like a gold glitter. And using my pencil brush, I'm only going to apply this right in the corners. I'm also adding a little bit of shadow right here just to tie up the look together. And once again, I'm just going to go in with that eyeshadow. And just using the tail of this brush, I'm just sort of... Next, I'm just taking my cream bronzer on the back of my hand, and this is the Hoola cream bronzer, which looks like this. Sorry. And I'm just working that. Next up is cream bronzer, and I'm just going to use this the Fenty Beauty cream bronzer in the shade Petal Poppin'. And then once again, bring whatever is left on your chin, something around your nose, and, you know, your temples. I'm just going to take barely anything on this big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to, you know, skim that through my eyes here. Pull this into your temples too. For highlight, I'm also taking this Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, and I'm just applying this on the highest points, you know, in obvious places here. Chin and Cupid's bow. Maybe a little bit here too. And also the tops of the brows. And we're just going to blend that. I'm just gonna do my brows and mascara, and I'll be right back because, you know, we want to see if there's anything that we want to touch up. Now, as always, whenever you go in with mascara, it's like all that blush just disappeared somewhere. So I'm just gonna go in with blush again. And I'm gonna work that. Joining this. Once again, just take your beauty blender and just bounce it. And I'm thinking I'll do some freckles today, so I don't know, I'm a little scared because I've never tried it before. Now I'm finishing skin, so I'm just going in with a little more of that foundation of mine, and I'm just sweeping this under the cheeks here just to give myself a little more coverage if I've lost any. So my favorite is usually Spice from MAC for lip liner. That's kind of... I'm also going in with a little bit of that Kylie K lip liner in the shade called JK, I think. Okay, before we move on to lips, which I did with 2 lip liners, one good tip is if you have like an active pimple or something, just go in with your black eyeliner or like a brownish shade pencil and just like go over that and make it look like beauty spots. This one from Tower 28. This lip gloss is so light in texture, and I'm just applying this sort of all over. It literally feels like a balm. Oh, the skin looks fab today. And the last step, of course, like everything is super glossy, creamy. You kind of want to lock in all those emollients. So I'm going to use this Hourglass Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray. And I'll just spray this. So that's it. This is the finished look. I hope you liked it. I hope you try it because it's kind of easy. One thing I wanted to mention is sometimes even when I'm doing my makeup looks as I do it on camera, I feel like it's not going where I want it to. But I would say just trust the process because in the end, it just like comes back together, you know, and it's gonna work out. Trust me.